started. Action. Hi, this is Duncan, and I'm here to review two snack foods with you. Goldfish cinnamon roll, sweet grams, but also they're fishies. Okay, we're gonna see if these are good, and then I'm also gonna try Linzer, Pepperidge Farm raspberry Linzer cookies. And we're gonna see if any of these are good. Okay, and then we're also gonna put them head-to-head challenge because guess what? Life is about competition, is it not? It's about camaraderie, it's about competition, and it's about beating your foe. So which cookie wins at the end of this food review? I am also very hungry. I've never tried these snacks before. Let's get into this goldfish situation. Can goldfish make sweet treats? Ooh, they smell good. They smell very cinnamony and very sugary. Okay. All right, I really wanted to just open the whole... Okay, there we go. All right. And so we've opened it. I do the smell test. Okay, 35 smiles per serving. What other food tracks the smiles per serving? 140 calories for 35 pieces of goldfish. That's pretty good ratio. That's pretty good ratio. Okay, now let's take a look at these. It's a tiny little goldfish crack. It looks a bit like a Teddy Graham. Do you see all the flavor? Look at all the flavor on it. Okay, let's try it. The cracker's a bit savory. The crackery has a lot, very heavy cinnamon. I feel like that dust on there is a cinnamon sugar dust. And I'm there for it. Cinnamon and sugar dust on a graham cracker cookie. So really, this is like an overpowered Teddy Graham cookie. You know, the Teddy Graham cookie, the little okay. So I feel like it's taking those flavor profiles and then enhancing them because it's coated with that sugar and cinnamon dust. I'm going to save my review toward the end because this isn't a typical review. It's a head-to-head challenge of the goldfish. Okay, no, I will tell you. A 7.3 out of 10. Rock solid, but I'm going to save my verdict to whether I'll go back later. Good. The crunch too, the crunch matters, but it's not your typical goldfish crunch where it's got air in the middle. I think that's what makes a typical goldfish cracker delicious, is you've got that airy bite. This is dense. This is a dense cracker. It is very typical of a graham cracker. That's probably my only criticism is I could just eat graham crackers, right? But graham cracker doesn't have that dust on it. Look, we'll wait. Now it's time to try the Linzer raspberry cookie. How many smiles per cookie? It doesn't say. It just says crafted for our bakers for you. Happy holidays. All right. All right. Happy holidays, everybody. All right, let's get in here. Let's try a Linzer cookie. I don't know what makes it unwrap something deliciously special. You know what I'll do? I'll make mashed potatoes for my loved ones, and then I'll put them underneath the Christmas tree and just put a bow on it. The mashed potatoes are surprisingly stay good for a while, and everybody loves mashed potatoes. You know, you never hear anybody say, "Oh, I'm potato intolerant." Ooh, they smell interesting. They don't smell typically. Look, let me. So they're in their own basket. Let me take a basket out. Again, Linzer, raspberry. Look, they're in their own little basket. Okay. It's the same type of, look, this is the same, this is how you bake muffins, or you give people in an insane asylum their pills. It's the same little kind of a wrapper. Look at these. Look at that. Isn't that cute? The dough smells interesting. I smell raspberry, right? I smell raspberry. It's like two cookies. See how it's two cookies and then it's got the raspberry filling? Let's dissect one. Let's see if we can crack one of these open. Ooh, interesting. Oh, look at that. Look at all that jam. Okay. Oh man, interesting. Okay, let's go in. Let's go in. Mmm. This cookie is very interesting. The cookie itself has a lot of flavor. Wheat flour. Also, the raspberry filling is extremely tart. I like it. It's a very interesting flavor profile. I'm tasting a lot of flour elements, more so than you would a typical cookie, right? This cookie is almost, it's a dry cookie, so it's almost the consistency between like a cookie and a biscuit. And that gets confusing because across the pond in Britain, they call cookies biscuits. We call them crackers here, right? But then they call crackers biscuits. And then they call cookies biscuits. I'm confusing myself. I'm going to keep eating this cookie. Mmm, it's good. But you know, the biggest question marks I have about is about this cookie. This cookie is very interesting. The actual shortbread cookie, it doesn't taste like a typical shortbread. I don't think it has a lot of sugar in it. That's why I say it tastes way more like a cracker because it's almost like a dense cracker without much sugar. And then all the sugar and the flavor comes from the inside, from that filling. And I kind of like it. I've never had a cookie like this before. Um, Very unique cookie. I'd give it a 7.1 out of 10. What are you doing? I'm doing cookie review. Look, my lady friend just made an appearance. I'm sorry if you didn't want to be on camera. Look, life gets lived when you're filming live reviews. I believe she's taking the puppies out. Okay, so 7.1 for the Linzer cookies. Okay, and then 7.1 for the Linzer cookie. And then 7.3 for the Goldfish. But that doesn't mean the Goldfish are better. Now we do the head-to-head challenge. Okay? Now we do head-to-head challenge. Let me drink some water and clean my palate out. That's to get the spots on my tongue clean. Okay, now this is how the head-to-head challenge works. It's a free-for-all. It's a chaos round of snack challenges. We try the Goldfish. We try Linzer cookie. And we let them fight it out in my mouth. Hi, puppy. You can't eat a Linzer cookie. Now, which flavor will take over and dominate the other flavor? Clearly, the raspberry has a stranglehold on the cinnamon dust. But we won't know until we swallow. Y'all, if you're ever in a situation, always swallow. Spitters for quitters. Especially when you're tasting new foods or you have a new sex partner. Hey, I gotta give it to you. The dryness of this cookie stamps out the graham cracker infusion of this Goldfish. And then the big kibosh is that delicious, thick, right, tart and sugary filling of raspberry from the Linzer cookie. It absolutely dominates in the mouth. 9.3 as far as being able to dominate. 9.3, the winner is the Linzer cookie by a mile, by a country mile, which is about 4 miles in real time. Congratulations, Pepperidge Farm Linzer cookie, for taking home the gold. I would buy both of these snacks again, but the Linzer cookie wins in the head-to-head challenge. Okay? All right. Bye. See you next time I review food and stuff. Cut!